Hi again. So in this video we're going to be talking about the present tense. So the present tense is used to describe verbs that are happening in the present. And the active form of present can be translated in 3 different ways, while the passive is translated in 2 different ways. Let me write that down. Active, sorry, my tablet's spazzing out. 3 different ways, and let's list them. One way is blanking. Another is blanks, and the third one is does blank. And obviously the verbs that go in the blanks. And the passive has 2 ways, as I just said, and that can be translated as is blanked or is being blanked. And really it depends on context. Whatever works best. You can just decide between these. If it's active, decide between the 3 active, passive between the 2 passive. So yeah. And anyways, the active form of the verb is formed directly from the passive form of the verb. Formed differently than the passive form of the verb. We can start off by conjugating the active present. And if you remember, when we did nouns, we used the chart form, and we're going to do the same thing for the verbs, except they're going to be a little bit different. You're going to have your persons, first person, second person, and third person on the left-hand column. You're going to have your singular and your plural on the top, and then you go ahead and make that line. And right now, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how each of these will be translated. So the first one, singular, will be translated as I blank. First person plural is we blank. Second person singular, you blank. Second person plural, you all blank. Third person singular, he, she, it blanks. And third person plural is they blank. And now I'll list the endings for the active present tense. And I'll just go ahead and write them right next to it. First, second, third, and then singular and your plural. And they're going to end as O, S, T, mus, tis, that's an S, and then finally unt. Okay, so just like with nouns, after you have your endings down, you can attach your stem. But with the present tense verb, there's an extra step for you to do before you attach your stem. Between the stem and the ending, you have to add something called your connecting vowel, and it's different for each verb. I made a chart of the connecting vowels and for each of the conjugations, and I wrote down each of the special rules for each conjugation, since it's kind of hard to write down like small words with this tablet. And by the way, it might be a good idea to have a composition notebook where you're following along with me, because it's really easy to mix up all these declensions and conjugations, especially when you're starting out. And also, once you start translating, it's really nice to have a place where you can just refer back to and have all the grammar. So anyways, on the left are the conjugations, and each row contains the endings of the first and second principal part for that conjugation. It also includes the connecting vowel that you add between your stem and your ending. It has where you put your connecting vowel, and finally it has any special rules you need to follow. And this may seem like a lot to remember now, but the more you practice, the easier it gets, and you'll have this by no time. So I'm going to go ahead and conjugate a first conjugation verb, and a third conjugation verb, just so you get the idea about how to form them. Excuse me. So anyway, let's make another chart, and let me write down the first conjugation verb first. And actually, I'll just go ahead and write down 2 charts. First, second, third, and singular and your plural. There we go, and we'll make another one for the third conjugation verb, singular, plural, and first, second, third. That's kind of an awkward chart. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and use the word amo, amare, for the first conjugation, and there's more to the dictionary entry, but this is all you need for now for this case. But for the third conjugation, I will use peto, petere. Okay, so if you remember, I've said before, all you have to do, cross off the last 3 letters of your second principal part, and you get your stem. And go ahead and copy that down in all the spaces. Okay. And then I said you need your connecting vowel, and it turns out for the first conjugation, the connecting vowel, if you go over here to the chart, it's the A. And actually, let me circle that in a different color so you can tell the difference. A. And where next you have to look where to put the connecting vowel, and it says everywhere but the first singular. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So now you can go ahead and add your rules that add your endings, that I just mentioned. And if you look right here, it's ost muss tis und. O-S-T muss tis und. So it ends up being amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatis, amat. And now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing for the third conjugation verb. Peto, petere. And we're going to cross off our last 3 letters, and we get our stem. And I'm doing 2 verbs just so that you get a feel for how to use the chart. And again, we're just going to go ahead and put down our stem, all the spaces. And we're going to look to our chart, find third conjugation, o ere. That checks out. Yes, it's o ere. And then we see our connecting vowel is I, and we put it everywhere but first singular and third plural. So let's do that. It's I everywhere but first singular and third plural. There we go. And let's look for any special rules. And it says right here the third plural connecting vowel is U. And let's write that down. U. And now we can just go ahead and tack on our endings. Easy peasy. O-S-T muss tis und. Peto, petis, petit, petimus, petitus, petunt. Okay, so now we can move on to the passive. And the passive has a different set of endings and different rules. However, the connecting vowels remain the same. And I also made another chart, and I highlighted all the differences. Let me actually move that up so that you can see, you can compare it with the active chart. Well, let me go ahead and label them. That's active, and this is passive. And active. Okay. So as you can see over here in the third person where it says to put the connecting vowel, you are also supposed to put it in, or you're not supposed to put it in the second person singular either, and you're supposed to replace that with an E, as you can tell right here and here. And you can just go ahead and read the rest, but I find that it's very helpful to highlight the differences just so it's clear in your mind. So let me go ahead and give you the endings for the passive, and I'll make my chart again. And for this, they are or, ris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Okay, so there are the endings. And you can form your nouns the same way as the active. Just jot down your stem, follow the rules for the connecting vowels in the chart, and then add on your endings. And the present is definitely the most detailed. It has the most specific rules. So don't worry about it if you don't understand it first. I'm not going to conjugate a passive verb because I think you have the idea with these two. The only difference is these different connecting vowels. I mean, the connecting vowels are the same, the rules are different, and the different endings. So the other tenses are a lot easier to form and remember, and Latin verbs are especially hard to master, so don't feel bad if you don't get it immediately. And also, you can continue to watch the videos again and again if it doesn't click the first time, and just do it as often as you need to. And as always, please feel free to email me if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.